Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 46th Annual General Meeting of Allianz Malaysia, Berhad. I am Rafia Salim, the Chairman of the Board of Allianz Malaysia, Berhad. The meeting is conducted fully virtual from the broadcast venue at Ballroom B, Level 2, Aloft, Kuala Lumpur Central, through remote participation and voting facilities. Therefore, no shareholders shall be physically present at this broadcast venue. I have been advised by the Company Secretary that there is a quorum of at the commencement of this meeting. For the purpose of determining a member who shall be entitled to participate at this meeting, the company has obtained the record of depositors from Bursa Malaysia Depository Sendirian Berhad. Based on the record of depositors as at 22nd June 2020, there are 2,927 shareholders holding 176,888,839 ordinary shares of the company. It has been confirmed by the share registrar, Tricor Investor and Issuing House Services Sendirian Berhad, that there are 145 members and proxies representing 130,920,130 ordinary shares of the company, or approximately 79.1% have registered themselves to participate in this meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed further, I would like to introduce the attendees who are physically present at this broadcast venue. On my immediate right is Encik Zakri bin Muhammad K., the Chief Executive Officer of the company. Wait. On the right is Mr. Joseph Kumar Gross, the Chief Executive Officer of the Life Insurance Subsidiary. On my immediate left is Madam Ng Siu Gek, the Company Secretary, and followed by Mr. Charles Ong, the Chief Financial Officer of the company. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now introduce to you the rest of the board members who are with us today at the broadcast venue. Firstly, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Dr. Tilinathan Ramasamy, the Chairman of our Audit Committee. Next is Yang Amat Mulia Tengku Zain Al-Abidin Ibni Tuanku Muhriz, the Chairman of Nomination and Remuneration Committee. And Mr. Peter Ho Kok Wai, the Chairman of Risk Management Committee. We also have our board member, Mr. Solmaz Altin, who joins us virtually today. You can see him on the screen. Mr. Solmaz, please acknowledge yourself by waving your hands. Welcome. Thank you. At the same time, I would also like to welcome our auditor, Mr. Manjit Singh, the representative from PricewaterhouseCoopers, for participating in this meeting. Mr. Manjit, please acknowledge yourself by waving your hand. Well, you can't hear, eh? Okay, thank you anyway, everyone. The voting at the 46th Annual General Meeting will be conducted on a poll in accordance with paragraph 8.29A of the main market listing requirements of Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad. The company has appointed Trico Investor and Issuing House Services Sendirian Berhad as the poll administrator for this meeting. The company has also appointed Mega Corporate Services Sendirian Berhad as the scrutineer to verify the poll results. In order to facilitate the online voting process, the shareholders or proxies may proceed to vote on the proposed resolutions as stated in the agenda at any time from the commencement of this meeting and before the end of voting session, which I will announce later. Please watch the following video on the procedures of online voting by Trico Investor and Issuing House Services Sendirian Berhad.
Dear shareholders and proxy holders, the steps for you to cast your votes via Trico's remote participation and voting, i.e. RPV application, are as follows. When you are on the live stream meeting page, click on the Go to Remote Voting Page button below the query box. Read and agree to the terms and conditions and confirm the declaration. Select your CDS account number and click the Vote button. Indicate your voting instructions either for or against or abstains for the resolutions that are tabled for voting and click the Next button. Review your votes casted and click on Confirm to submit. Download the document for remote voting for your record if required. To return to live stream meeting page, click on Live Streaming button on the right. Alternatively, if you wish to listen to meeting proceedings while you are submitting your votes, you may click on the Corporate Exercise or Corporate Event button on the left side of the screen and open the link in New Window. Under a new window, select the corporate event for the relevant company remote voting, AGM or EGM. Follow the same steps as mentioned earlier on how to cast your votes remotely. Shareholders and proxy holders are kindly being informed that our voting system allows you to vote for all the resolutions at one time. Please ensure that you have completed voting on all the resolutions before you confirm the submission of your votes. Once the chairman announces the end of the voting session, the system will not allow you to submit your votes. Therefore, please ensure you submit your votes timely before the voting session ends. If you have any questions to raise to Board of Directors, please submit your questions in the query box, which is available on live stream meeting. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, shareholders and proxies who are participating remotely in the meeting today may use the query box to transmit your questions during the meeting. We shall answer the questions after all items of the agenda have been presented at this meeting. I now have pleasure in calling this meeting to order. Ladies and gentlemen, the notice calling for this meeting has been distributed to all entitled shareholders on 1st June 2020. Hence, the notice convening this meeting shall be taken as read. We shall now proceed to the items stated in the agenda. Item 1 of the agenda is for the shareholders to receive the audited financial statements for the financial year ended 31st December 2019 and the directors and auditors' reports thereon in accordance with Section 340, Paragraph 1, A of the Companies Act 2016. The audited financial statements for the financial year ended 31st December 2019 and the directors and auditors' reports are for discussion only, as it does not require shareholders' approval. Hence, this item will not be put for voting. On this agenda item, I would like to invite Mr. Charles Ong, our Chief Financial Officer of the company, to present to you the financial highlights of the group, followed by the presentation of Encik Zakri, the CEO of the company, and Mr. Joseph Kumar Gross, the CEO of the Life Insurance. Charles, over to you.
Thank you, Tan Sri Chairman. I would like to, good morning, shareholders. I hope you are healthy and well. I would like to start my presentation with the overview of the industry. As probably I would just want to say is that our industry is still very underpenetrated, especially if you look at the general insurance industry, is only 1.3% insurance penetration. For life, it's only 3.1%. However, the growth is very subdued, especially for the general industry. It was actually shrinking marginally, negative 0.8% in 2019. And in 2018, it was only 1.5. For life insurance industry, the new business was actually growing quite well. Was about 14.8%. But 2018, it was only 1%. For these two, our company, the two insurance subsidiaries, has outperformed the industry. I will let the CEO to walk you through later on. And I think there is a lot of challenges for this year. The growth last year, GDP growth was only 4.3%. And the projected growth for this year, with the pandemic of COVID-19, we are projected that we may go down to negative 2%. I think we are yet to see what can be the bottom. We will continue to be vigilant how to manage through this difficult time. However, next page, please. 2019 was a very good year for Allianz Malaysia. I think we have actually performed very well. We achieved a 9.3% growth in our top line, GWP. 4.9 million is a record numbers to the group. We have also achieved a record profit number, our bottom line number, of 692 million, which it grew by 33%. If you look at the breakdown, the life grew by 66.7%, the general grew by 13%. However, I will walk you through, give you a bit more better analysis of the growth of our profit of 33%. I will go to next page, please. For this page, let's look at our revenue development. We have a strong two pillars of business, our life business and our general business. General business, we are the market leader. For the life business, we are growing very well. As you can probably see, general business, we maintain our market leadership position with a 12.3% of market share. We continue to increase our market share. For the life business, we continue to gain market share as well. And for last year, if you look at the past 5 years, the average growth per year is around, we call it a CAGR, of 4.4%. So last year, we grew by about 9.3%. Life grew by 14%, and general grew by 3.6%. Next page. not only top line, but for us is profitable growth. Our profit is now at the record high of 692%. Our profit grew by 33.4% last year. Over the past 5 years, on average, it grew by about 10%. I think how we achieve that, I think it's a lot of discipline, a lot of financial discipline, how we price our business, how we manage our expenses. And we continue to push for profitable mix of business. We have two challenges that we are managing. One is the de-tariffication of the general insurance business, and the other one is the liberalization of our life business. I just want to specifically say that the life business, we actually generated a new business value of 259 million, a growth of 29.6% last year. What does new business value mean? This is actually the present value of our future profit generated last year for our new business. I want to move on. I think 33% is a very big number, but I just want to analyze, as I say, what our profit growth, okay? The core profit of the group actually grew by about 14.2% because there are some impact to our life business is the fair value gain and the tax impact. There are also some of the one-off adjustment, okay? I will spend a couple of minutes here, maybe about 1 to 2 minutes, to talk about fair value. For our business, most of the investment equity gain, they belongs to the policyholders fund. We invest for our policyholders' long-term expectation. We also have our shareholders' money. We invest mainly in fixed income. When there is a drop of interest rate, which happened in 2019, it dropped by about 80 basis points, then we will see a fair value gain. Our asset will mark up, but simultaneously, our contract liability will also go up, but the net impact is a gain to us. We also have some one-off adjustment, which is actually some of the reserve that we maintain, but if the claims turn out to be better than what we expected, we can release some of this reserve number. So nevertheless, our core profit actually grew at a healthy 14.2%. General insurance business, net combined ratio was 91%, but excluding the one-off adjustment, it was at a healthy 92.5%. I'll go to the next page. This is regarding our dividend. I would like to summarize. I think during the year of 2014, before 2018, we say that we retain the dividends to help us to grow. In 2019, we generated an ROE of 14%. And at the same time, we step up our dividends payment. In 2018, it increased by 233%. And in 2019, it increased by 63%. And what was that figure? This dividend payout in 2019, paid in January 2020, and we call it interim dividends, is a record high payout ratio of 50%. And with the share price during that time, the yield was estimated to be about 4.4 or 4.5%. I think moving forwards, I think we have communicated that the group will want to maintain a minimum dividend payout ratio. That is our dividend policy of 30%. Of course, is subject to, number one, meeting our solvency requirement. If we grow our business, the solvency capital that we need to keep also grow in tandem with our business. So we have to manage that. Secondly is, if we have a good project, we will want to retain some of this for our expansion for the group. And then thirdly, all the dividends from our subsidiaries require regulatory approvals. Okay, so I would like to conclude, and I'll pass on to Encik Zakri to take us through the general insurance business.
Yeah. Thank you, Charles. Morning, everybody. I must say, we are discussing results that were 6 months ago, so I'm sure there'll be a lot more questions as to our current state. But nevertheless, it is what we must do. So 2019 was a good year for Allianz General. We grew 3.6%. The market went backwards about 0.8, so we did better than the market. Even in terms of combined ratio, 91% versus the market at 92.8. And also, we did better than the previous year. Maintained our position as number one, grew our market share a little bit. So overall, reasonably good performance. Next slide. So as you can see, if we look at the past 6 years, we've been hovering around 2.1 to 2.2 in terms of premium. It's pretty stable. The volatility was caused primarily because the loss of the CIMB account, but we've passed that now. Our distribution mix is still we're still very much an agency-based company, which about 60%, and the balance is made out of the telemarketing, brokers, and of course the motor dealers, the franchise. And a little bit of banca. As you can see, the banca has dropped significantly because we've lost the CIMB account. Okay, next slide. Again, we did better in 2018 in terms of profit, and primarily it was a good year for underwriting profit, and investment yield was also not bad, hence we did better. But the general business is pretty stable, so I don't expect any swings in respect to this because we're that size, and if we can come back with a combined ratio of 90% every single year, thereabouts, we should be pretty good. So this is basically quite reflective of that particular position. Next slide. Yes, so these are all the combined ratios for all the quarters. So it's all pretty stable. One or two little spikes here are primarily caused by maybe spikes in claims. But that's okay. That's the nature of the business. Next slide. Yes. Yeah. I think this is something I think we spoke about. It's our transformation. I'm not going to go through the slide. I think I will pass now the floor to Joe to go through the life business.
Yeah. Thank you, Zakri. Ladies and gentlemen, dear shareholders, a warm welcome from my side. I equally feel like Zakri, 2019 is 6 months ago, and it feels like a lifetime, a different era, how humankind has changed. But let's have a look at 2019. So 2019 for the life business has been a very, very strong year. If you look at this slide, you look at the market shares. So Allianz Life grew by 16.3% new business, outperforming the market, which had grown by 14.8%. Our market share is strong at 8.5%, and we're number 5 position in the marketplace. And that was just not a 1 year off 2019, but if you look at the data on this slide, 2018, similarly, we outperformed the market. And even if you take a longer time frame, if you look at the past 5 years, the life business has been performing very well in terms of growth. We grew by 10.6%, and the market, the industry was at about 7.5%. So the life business is on a growth trajectory quite clearly. Next slide, please. If we look at the business fundamentals, so what this data shows is the gross written premium. Said differently, that's the in-force business, so not the new business, but the business that we have on our book. Maintaining that business and growing that business delivers the profitability which all shareholders, of course, expect. And I'm happy to say in 2019, it was very healthy. So we grew our GWP, gross written premium, by 14.3%. We're about 2.7 billion, with a very healthy mix of single premium and recurring premium. Primarily, our focus is to have recurring premium because that's a good persistency and that's good for shareholders also if you've got a back book which is on recurring premium. If we go to the next slide, please. So if we look at the new business, annualized new premium, this is the outlook for the shareholders of the new business growth. Again, very healthy. We grew by 16% in 2019, and that's backed by a multi-channel distribution mix. Yes, we're quite strongly focused on the agency channel. It is highly profitable and generates growth, but we're also having a very good success with bancassurance with our partners with HSBC, but also on the corporate business. So we've got a well-diversified distribution portfolio on the life business. Next slide, please. We continue to focus on investment linked. So what you see here is investment linked versus regular products. Investment linked are good for shareholders and good for the company, for a life company, because investment linked does not have any long-term embedded guarantees. So it's very capital efficient, and especially now in the COVID crisis, it's also much less sensitive to interest rate movements, etc. So this portfolio that you see from the life side is more or less 70 to 80% we're on the investment linked focus, and that's a very healthy product mix that we will continue to drive in the life business. If we go to the next slide, maybe for shareholders the most important slide is the profit before tax. I think, as Charles has alluded on that one, wouldn't get too carried away with the 2019 numbers, the 67% increase in PBT, because as Charles had clearly said, 72 million of that are driven by market forces and how we account the interest rates. If you look at the core profit, however, it has gone from 204 million to 269, and a very healthy growth of 32%. So even the operating profitability, which is the most important for a company, is very, very healthy, or was very healthy in 2019 for the life business. And I think the third bullet point on the right-hand box indicates also the profitability for the future, which is the new business value. We're more or less at 260 million new business value created. That's 30% growth versus the year ago. And typically, new business value generates the future profitability for the business. So that's the outlook on the profit. If we just go to the next slide. I'm not going to lead you through this slide, don't worry. I think this just illustrates that the backbone of delivering these results are not one-time off effects, but we're transforming the company really to be much, much simpler, much more digital, much more transparent. Just as one indicator, in 2019, I believe we might have been the first and only life health insurance company to issue a fully underwritten policy in 5 minutes. That means once the customer pays with the credit cards, 5 minutes later, maximum 5 minutes later, the policy is fully processed and in the inbox, of course electronically, for the policy holders, just to demonstrate the innovation and the change we've been driving here on the life business. And of course, this has proven to be extremely important in the COVID crisis, when we were fully digital with our customers and distribution partners. That just gives our company a big resilience. Doesn't matter what happens on the outside, so to say. In the COVID crisis, this foundation proved very, very valuable. I'd like to close the review on the life business with that, and Tan Sri Chairman, I would like to hand over back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. Now, before we proceed to the question and answer session, I would like to draw your attention to the remaining items of the agenda. Item 2 of the agenda, which is to approve the payment of directors' fees and directors' benefits to non-executive directors of the company and its insurance subsidiaries, excluding nominee directors of Allianz SE. Item 2A of the agenda is in relation to the payment of directors' fees for the company and its insurance subsidiaries, excluding nominee directors of Allianz SE, amounting to Ringgit Malaysia 2,036,194 for the financial year ended 31st December 2019. Item 2B of the agenda is to approve the payment of directors' benefits to the non-executive directors of the company and its insurance subsidiaries, excluding the nominee directors of Allianz SE, up to an amount of Ringgit Malaysia 1,140,860 from 1st July 2020 until the next annual general meeting of the company. Item 3 of the agenda is to consider the re-election of Yang Amat Mulia Tengku Zain Al-Abidin Ibni Tuanku Mukhris, who retires by rotation in accordance with clause 19.1 of the Constitution of the company, and being eligible, offers himself for re-election. Item 4 of the agenda, which is to re-elect directors who were appointed to the board during the year and shall retire in accordance with clause 19.7 of the Constitution of the company. Item 4A of the agenda is to consider the re-election of Madam Claudia Salem, pursuant to clause 19.7 of the Constitution of the company, and being eligible, offers herself for re-election. Item 4B of the agenda is to consider the re-election of Mr. Peter Ho Kok Wai, pursuant to clause 19.7 of the Constitution of the company, and being eligible, offers himself for re-election. Item 5 of the agenda is to reappoint Messrs. PricewaterhouseCoopers as the auditors of the company for the financial year ending 31st December 2020, and to authorize the directors to fix their remuneration. Items 6 and 7 of the agenda are to transact special business. Item 6 of the agenda is in relation to the proposed shareholders' mandate for the recurrent related party transactions with Allianz SE Group. For item 7 of the agenda, it is in relation to the proposed shareholders' mandate for recurrent related party transactions with Rapid Pro Consulting Sendirian Berhad. Item 8 of the agenda is to transact any other business for which due notice shall have been given. I have been advised that we have not received any notice of other business to be transacted at this meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, since there are no other business to be transacted, we shall now proceed to answer the questions received from shareholders and proxies. The various questions will be handled by Madam Ng Siu Gek or Encik Zakri, Mr. Joe Gross or Mr. Charles Ong. So, Madam?
Dear shareholders, question number 1 is would the board reward shareholders who attended this AGM with door gift and e-voucher? So our answer is no door gift or e-voucher will be given. But however, today, if you sign up for Allianz VK community, you will be entitled for a free gift from us. Question number 2, does the company pay fees to directors for attending this AGM? Our answer is yes. We pay independent directors meeting allowance for attending board meetings as well as annual general meetings. That's it. To Zakri.
Okay. This is the million-dollar question. How could COVID-19 pandemic affect company financial performance in net? Okay. I would like you to ask this question to me maybe next year. But for now, we're okay. Whilst there's a lot of doom and gloom around and the potential recession is coming, both companies are doing reasonably well. We are not severely impacted by the COVID-19. Obviously, certain segments are slow. Life agents cannot sell face-to-face, but we've adjusted to this. And as it is now, the book is still good, and we, for some reason, are looking pretty good compared to last year. Yeah, another question. Now, first of all, we're an insurance company and we pay claims. We can't tell people how much claims we pay, but that's not right. The COVID-19 exposure is there. However, the claims are not really significant. Nothing unusual, nothing that we have not already anticipated in our very robust risk management regime that we have. So we are, like I said previously, we are not seeing any significant impacts in respect to the claim from the COVID-19. Yeah. I see you.
All right, so I'll take the next question, which the question is, company is top 1 market share in general insurance, and what are the company plans and how many years to become number 1 in life? Yeah, that's a good question. So I think on the previous presentation, I presented the facts on the life business, the Allianz Life business. And you've seen that we've been growing and outperforming the market in 2019, in 2018, and over the past 5 years. So I think I've already alluded to the fact that Allianz Life is strongly growing from a top-line perspective, a new business perspective, new business value perspective, and most importantly also from a profitability perspective. Because, ladies and gentlemen, size and scale is not a purpose by itself. It has to be backed by quality of the book, and most importantly, the profitability. So to the specific question, it's not a purpose or an aim of mine to become number 1 in the marketplace. Our key aim is to outperform the market, to continue to stay the course, deliver better value propositions towards our customers and towards our distribution partners, our agents, banks, etc. And then success will follow. Step by step, we'll grow. If we continue growing like in 2019, the strong top line and the bottom line, the profitability, which obviously benefits the shareholders, I think we're serving all stakeholders well, customers, employees, shareholders, and society. So I think that will be our strategic focus. And then we will just see where Alim ends up over the next couple of years. I'd be very happy if we could repeat the performance of 2019. Now, with the COVID crisis, of course, things might be slightly different compared to 2019. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take the next question. This question says, Allianz current asset allocation is about 76% in fixed income. With the current low interest rate environment, what is our strategies and how to manage this low interest rate environment? First of all, I would like to explain how we actually invest our money. We have a strong investment mandates to invest our assets, total assets. Broadly, I would say that all the shareholders' money that, for example, like general insurance fund, the life shareholders' money, we mainly invest in fixed income. And the main reason is because we think that it is very important to support the solvency. For others fund, which is like investment-linked funds, universal life funds, par funds, these are all policyholders and shareholders' money. Some of them commingle. We have a strong mandate as well. We will have a balanced approach, a strong investment discipline to invest our money. So therefore, I think in total, you will see that about 76% of my investment assets are in fixed income. Okay, as I mentioned, one of our main investment approach is to look at the capital requirement and also the risk management. So for shareholders' money, solvency is very important. Therefore, we invest in the fixed income. In general, when the interest rate drop, okay, it's a positive impact to our balance sheet and our P&L. As you probably can see in 2019, interest rate, as I just now presented, dropped by 80 basis points. Just take one tenor, 10 years MGS dropped by 80 basis points. There is a fair value gain because I mark up my assets, my contract liability also mark up, but the net impact to us mainly are positive to us. Okay, therefore you saw the fair value gain, which we also ask you to say that you will see a 33% growth in the profit, but if we strip that out, the core profit still grow by about 14%. Okay, so I think because first quarter this year, the interest rate has actually come down quite substantially. So you will see the fair value, it become a fair value loss as compared to 2019 was a fair value gain. Okay, how to manage this persistent low interest rate environment? Of course, that we do things. I think is still continue to optimize our strategic asset allocation. Yeah. Then we also need to look at the tactical strategy, how we actually invest to capitalize on the market fluctuations. Yeah. If there's any misprice in the investment opportunity, we will take advantage of that. Yeah. We will also continue to look into alternative investment to look for a yield pickup. And you can also see in my balance sheet, I also have entered into derivatives. I enter into derivatives mainly to manage asset duration and also asset the long-term low interest rate environment. So these are all positive to us. Yeah. Okay, I'll go on to talk about the next question. On page 215 of the annual reports, Allianz Malaysia recorded a net realized loss for financial asset of in 2018 and also 2019, mainly from disposal of our quoted equity security. Can the management elaborate the reason for this poor performance and what will the expected performance in 2020 in view of the volatile equity markets? Okay, you saw 2019, we have a realized loss of 54.3 million, but simultaneously, we also have a realized gain of 24.6 million. So the net to us in 2019 was 29.7 million loss, okay? But this is actually the prudent management, okay? Prudent management of our investment portfolio, yeah? I think if you look at the long-term investment return, okay, in 2019, our par fund actually recorded a investment gain, the equity portfolio in PAR Fund recorded around 4.9% of investment gain, okay, where the market overall KLCI index was dropping by negative 6%, okay. So overall, we continue to look into our investment portfolio. We will dispose of the assets that we have no confidence to hold it for a longer term. We'll continue to look at our stock selection. That is our key, okay, to our investment. And again, for equity portfolio, these are all we manage for our policyholders to meet their long-term expectation on the investment return. Yeah. I would also want to say is that yes, 2020 first quarter, I'm sure we all know first quarter in March, equity portfolio I think was dropping, and we have also equal share of impairment. But we have actually realized quite a lot of our portfolio end of last year. Therefore, we actually reduce our equity holdings for our policyholders. Okay, I will move on to the next question. What is the management expectation on revenue, our GWP growth for this year? Zachary has actually mentioned about COVID-19, the impact to us, okay, especially our new business side. I think we have seen that it has actually impacted. But one thing that I must mention is that the group has a very strong in-force business. Our renewal business are strong. The persistency of our renewing our business are also strong. So this has helped us a lot. We are in the phase of recovery. We have seen that 2020 in sometime in May and June now, after the MCO, CMCO, and the RMCO, I think we have started to see a good recovery on our new business. So yes, we will manage. It's a challenging time ahead, but I think that we will be able to go through this period. Okay, one last question from my side is, what is the contribution of bank assurance to AJIC and ALIM? And what are the bank's partners? And when are the arrangement expiry? Will the group expect a lower margin on renewal? Okay. We have bank assurance partner with Standard Chartered Bank for general insurance and HSBC Bank for life insurance business. I will start with the life business. As what Joe has gone through, life business did very well in 2019, okay? Grew by 35% and outperformed the industry, okay? And has contributed significantly to the life business. Standard Chartered Bank for our general business, I would say that it has a meaningful contribution. But I want to highlight is that in 2019, we started to work with Post Malaysia, which contributes very significantly to our general insurance business. I think one thing we want to say is that we have a very diversified portfolio and multi-distribution, and that actually makes our business model more resilient. And yes, for life insurance, I think it has another 5 to 6 years before the expiry. But of course, we will continue to talk to them, our partners, and how we can actually renew on this bank assurance. I think it's a win-win situation that we work together with them and that we can actually generate fee incomes to them, and then they also bring in the new business to us. I think it's premature to comment whether is it a lower margin on renewal, but I think that is a win-win situation for both parties. I think with that, I will conclude that I'll pass it back to Tan Sri Chairman, please.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time, I would like to conclude the question and answer session for the meeting today. For those questions which have not been answered, we will respond to your questions within the next 14 working days. Before we proceed to the voting, on behalf of the Board of Directors and the company, I wish to thank Yang Berbahagia Datuk Dr. Tilinadam Ramasamy, who will retire as Director of the company at the conclusion of this AGM. We are very appreciative and grateful for his invaluable guidance and contribution to the company and the AMB Group. And we all wish him well for his future endeavors. Thank you, Datuk Tili. As informed earlier, the voting at this meeting will be conducted by poll. Shareholders and proxies are allowed to submit their votes online right after the commencement of this meeting. Thus, in order to facilitate the shareholders and proxies who have yet to cast their votes, we will now allow 10 minutes for the conduct of online voting. Shareholders and proxies, please proceed to cast your votes by referring to the online voting procedures as displayed on your screen. The voting shall end at the, what time? At the end of 10 minutes? At the end of 10 minutes, eh? Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for casting your votes. I hereby declare the voting session closed. With this, we shall adjourn the meeting for 20 minutes for votes counting and verification. The meeting is expected to resume within 20 minutes for declaration of the polling results. See you again soon. Ladies and gentlemen, the votes counting and verification process have been completed, and we shall resume the meeting now for the declaration of the poll results. The results of the poll are as per the projection on the screen. Based on those results, I declare all ordinary resolutions as tabled at the meeting are carried. Ladies and gentlemen, I now declare the meeting closed. Thank you for your participation and see you next year.